Hello and welcome back. I hope that you just got done watching the Crash Course Economics video. It gives you a great overview of supply and demand. And now I'm going to go just a little bit slower through the shifts because the shifts are also very important to understanding this topic. So first, let's review what is equilibrium price and what does that mean. So equilibrium price is where quantity demanded meets quantity supplied, right in the middle. And we call this the market price. If the market doesn't get that price right, we'll end up seeing a surplus or a shortage or a disequilibrium. And so we talked about what happens with price changes. However, there's lots of conditions in the marketplace that cause supply and demand to change besides price. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is why do we see changes that then ultimately impact price? So it's kind of like what comes first, the price change or some other event in the marketplace. So this week, we're going to talk about those other events in the marketplace. The way that they're illustrated on the graph is pictured here. So on the left side is when we see what we talked about last week with the change in price. So notice the arrow just shows that it goes down along D1, that's the demand curve 1, that we had a change in price. So the change in quantity demanded is driven by a change in price while ceteris paribus, which is a Latin word meaning everything else stays the same. And so in this particular case, if you went from A, so the green is the supply curve, so at A we had a surplus and now at B we ended up with a shortage with that price change. However, we know that things don't always stay the same, so it's not always ceteris paribus. We have lots of changing conditions in the marketplace. And so that causes an entire demand curve to shift or a supply curve to shift. So over here in this graph, we've illustrated that shift with the arrow pointing to the right. And notice down here labeled, it says D1 and D2. So the demand curve started here, but because of a change in the marketplace, the entire curve shifted to the right. So that caused our equilibrium price to change. So from here at about $2.50, equilibrium price is now $3. So if it continues to be at the $3.50 because new equilibrium price is up here, you're going to end up having a shortage if those producers don't respond by changing their prices. So that's what we're going to talk about is all of these shifters. If we were in class, we would practice all of these shifters and we would practice drawing all of these graphs. We're not going to do a lot of that because we just don't have time. But here are what some of the shifters or determinants, they're called demand determinants, is tastes and preferences, number of consumers, which is like your population. What's happening to related goods, like substitutes? Substitutes are things that I can buy in place of that good. So if I go to the grocery store and I say, oh, I just want to pick up some fresh fruit. I'm looking for maybe whatever has the cheapest prices when I go. So I might go, oh gosh, grapes are on sale this week. So even though I love strawberries and blueberries, I'm not going to buy those. I'm going to get my grapes because I just want some fruit. Complement goods are goods that you tend to buy together. So maybe when you go to the gas station and you get gas and car washes, or maybe peanut butter and jelly, or hot dogs and hot dog buns. Those are complements or things that you tend to buy together. The price of one good impacts the other. Next is income. Income is a demand determinant. If you have a normal good, it follows what I call the normal rules, where my income increases, I'm going to also increase my demand for that good. Whereas inferior goods are goods that once I make more money, I'm like, no way am I buying you anymore. So maybe an inferior good might be off-brand or generic goods or ramen noodles, where once my income goes up, I'm not buying ramen noodles anymore. And then the last one is just consumer expectations, what we think is going to happen in the marketplace. All right, let's take a look at a decrease in demand first. A decrease in demand is represented by a shift to the left on the graph. So notice here we've got D1 to D2. So the blue line is where demand started, but because of something that occurred in the marketplace, like maybe a pandemic, we see a shift to the left, a significant decrease in demand where the entire curve shifts. So what happens is the equilibrium price goes from 120 down to 180. So the new equilibrium price has dropped as well as the new equilibrium quantity demanded. We've seen this with oil big time in the last 8 weeks. Here's a couple of headlines that we've seen with oil. I don't like how this graph has the D1 and D2 on the left. They should be on the right, but that's why you've seen the decrease in oil prices is because people aren't driving anymore with staying home. And so we've seen significantly low oil prices, which then impacts us at the gas pump. Here's some reasons why demand might decrease. People don't like the product anymore. It goes out of style. You have a lower population. I think of that with churches, even in Albion. Our population has decreased in Albion or Boone County, and so of course the demand for churches or the membership for churches is less because our population has just decreased. And we really haven't seen a decrease in the number of churches or the supply, so you end up seeing fewer members in our churches. Number 3, price of related goods. So if demand is going to increase, that means that the substitute good got cheaper and I'm buying that. Or it also means maybe the complement good got more expensive, so I don't buy them together. With income, like I said earlier, with a normal good, demand will decrease when my income goes down, and demand will decrease with an inferior good when my income goes up. And then the last one is consumer expectations. If I think or expect prices to go down in the future, it's going to decrease my demand right now. All right, next one is for the increase in demand, and this is shift to the right. Now notice that the shifts, they just follow the graph down here because with quantity, we see an increase to the right, so that's why it shifts to the right with an increase in demand. So if there's something that happens in the marketplace that causes a shift in demand, in this case for chocolate bars, our equilibrium price will go from $1.20 to $1.60, and the equilibrium quantity also increases. So here's some things that might cause an increase in demand. It's in style. Lots of people have it. Maybe we see celebrities out wearing it, or we've seen something on TV. This will cause an increase in demand. Our population increases, increase in demand. With the price of related goods, demand will increase when substitutes get more expensive and complements get cheaper. With my income, demand increases when my income goes up for normal goods and it goes down for inferior goods. And then demand increases if I expect prices will go up in the future, I might increase my demand right now. Okay, we're going to practice a few of these. So we'll do a couple together and then I'm going to ask you what you think. So here we are. First one, the market is skinny jeans. So more and more celebrities are shown wearing skinny jeans. Fashion magazines show that skinny jeans are an up-and-coming trend. This determinant is tastes and preferences, and what we're going to see in the marketplace is demand increase. All right, next one, daycares. The town census showed that the birth rate declined by 25%. So what would happen to the market for daycares? Well, because of population, it's going to decrease. Okay, next one. I give you a hint. It's a complement good. But what will happen for the market on hamburger buns if the price of beef goes way down? So will the market for hamburger buns, will demand increase or decrease if beef becomes cheap? I hope you said that it will increase. Next one is chicken. Chicken is a substitute good for beef. So the price of beef goes way down. What will happen for the market for chicken? I hope you said that the market for chicken would decrease. All right, next one is SUVs. The price of gas goes way up. So this complement good of SUVs, what will happen to the market for it? Did you say that it would decrease? I hope so. All right, next one, movie ticket sales. This is a normal good. So the town census average showed that income levels increased by 10%. So what will happen to the market for movie tickets? Because it's a normal good, we'll see that demand increase. Next one is an inferior good, the generic brand of peanut butter. So we're not talking about Jiffy here, we're talking about the generic brand. So the town census average showed that the income levels increased by 10%. What will happen to generic peanut butter? Most likely, we'll see that decrease. Okay, I just want to review for you what you have left for the week. You need to post a summary of the article that I posted on Google Classroom. I posted 10 different options for articles. Please take a look at what others have posted and maybe choose something different. Of course, we're going to have some overlap, but I don't want everybody doing the same couple. I hope that we have a variety. When you post it, please start your comment or your post with the product. So if you chose, I gave you the example of video games, but let's say you chose UPS. I'm going to write UPS first, hyphen, and then I'm going to start with my, summary, and I'm going to write out my summary or whatever it is, okay? But start with the product, and then that's an easy way for us to glance through and kind of see which articles have already been selected. So please do that. Okay, so you have this week, you have the 2 ed puzzles and you have the article. That's it. Next week, our last week, you're going to have, so I just thought I'd kind of tell you what's coming up. You're going to have just 1 ed puzzle for next week. You're going to have something with articles that will be all about supply. And then I'm going to have just a quick end of year or end of semester / end of year survey for you. So I'm really starting to kind of feel sad that this is the way that we're closing out this school year. So I will be super excited to see it in the halls next fall. Thanks for listening. Please contact me with any questions. Have a great week.